Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmate. Today, we will discuss the pantheons and their counterpart. Greek titans, Olympians, wives and children, and demigods. The Pantheon. The Pantheon is a magnificent ancient temple in Rome that was later converted into Church of Santa Maria and Martyrs, dating from 125 AD. According to the sacreddestinations.com, this is the most complete ancient building in Rome and one of the city's most spectacular sites. So sa Rome daw, ito ang parang tourist spot ng mga tao doon. And when we say pantheon, it is an ancient building. Pag sinabi naman na pantheons, it is the all gods of people or religion collectively. Next, the Greek titans. In ancient Greek, the very first gods were called the titans, the Greek gods that ruled the world before the Olympians were born. The first 12 titans were the children of the original gods Uranus, Father Sky, and Gaia, Mother Earth. We have famous titan children, which is Atlas. After losing the war against Zeus, Atlas was punished by having to hold up the heavens on his shoulders. He is often shown holding the earth. It is his job. Next is Leto. Leto is famous for being mother of twin Olympian gods, Apollo and Artemis. Next is Helios. Helios was the god of the sun. He drove the chariot of the sun across the sky each day. Next is Prometheus. Prometheus is known in the Greek mythology as the creator of mankind. He is also gave mankind the gift of fire from Mount Olympus. Now, we will tackle the 12 titans of Greek mythology. First is Hephaestus, titan of morality, the allotment of moral lifespan as the fiercer. He was the titan of violent death. He married Gleam, one of the most oceanite daughter of Thetis and Oceanus. Children Atlas, Hephaestus, Prometheus, and Monitus. Next is Creus, titan of the heavenly constellations, married Eurybia, daughter of Gaia and Pontus. Children Astreus, Pallas, and Perses. Next is Phoebe, titan god of wise counsel and thoughtful replies, wife of Coeus. Children of Leto and Asteria. Coeus, titan of intelligence, wisdom, and deep searching questions, husband of Phoebe, father of Leto and Asteria, grandfather of Apollo and Artemis. Next, we have Themis, the titan divine law and order, an early wife of Zeus and his first counselor. Next is Mnemosyne, titan of memory, remembrance, and the inventor of language and words, mother of the 9 muses by Zeus. Next is Thea, titan of sight, and either the shining blue of the sky, wife of Hyperion. Children Helios, Eos, and Selene. Hyperion, titan of light, the father of lights of the sky, husband of Thea, father of Helios, Eos, and Selene. Next is Thetis, the titan of fresh water that nourished the earth. Her name is derived from the nurse or grandmother, wife of Oceanus, mother of Oceanides and Potamoi. Next is Oceanus, titan of all fresh water, including rivers, spring well, and rain clouds. He also controlling the rising and setting of all heavenly bodies, which were believed to descend into his watery rim at the ends of the earth. Husband, Teres, father of the Oceanides and Potamoy. Next is Rhea, titan of female fertility, motherhood, generation, and comfort, and is wife of Cronus, mother of Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. Next is Cronus, leader and the youngest of the Titans, the Titan of time, the ages, and is said to have led over earth during its golden age, husband of Rhea, father of Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. Now we will discuss the Olympians. The Olympians were a race of deities. They are primarily consisting of a third and fourth generation of immortal beings, worshipped as the principal of gods of the Greek pantheon because of their residency atop Mount Olympus, home of the gods, the home of the gods in Greek mythology called Mount Olympus. We have 12 Olympians: Zeus, Hera, Ares, Poseidon, Aphrodite, Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Hermes, Demeter, Hephaestus, and Hestia. Zeus. Zeus was the famous king of the Greek gods and the god of the sky, heaven, and the earth. He ruled the Mount Olympus with his wife Hera. Although Zeus was married, he was renowned for the numbers of liaisons with other women. The power of Zeus were legendary, and his famous symbol and weapon was the thunderbolt, which when hurled should shatter mountains. Zeus is known for being unfaithful to his wife Hera, and he hates his own child. Zeus is the king of the gods. He is powerful, that he is the god of the sky, thunder, and lightning. Also, he is the ruler of Olympus. Next is Hera. Hera was the queen of the ancient Greek gods and wife of Zeus. Her role was Her role was as the Greek goddess of the family, marriage, and childbirth. Many of the stories in ancient Greek mythology surrounding Hera tells of her jealousy and rages that were prompted by the numerous love affairs of her unfaithful husband Zeus. Hera was personified. She was depicted as a young woman, fully developed, chaste, and with serve beauty, her forehead crowned into diadem or with a high crown. She wears a long tunic. She is a faithful wife to Zeus, whom she gave 4 children: Ares, Hephaestus, Hebe, and Elatia. Hera, we all know that Hera is the wife of Zeus, but she is also known as a sister to Zeus. She is the queen of the Olympus. She is the goddess of marriage, family, and childbirth. Next is Apollo. Apollo was dazzling and handsome Greek god of the sun, prophecy, medicine, crops, and music. His task was to harness his chariot with the 4 horses and drive the sun across the sky. His abilities to bring the sun and well-being to humans explains his association with healing. Apollo was called Phoebus Apollo or Phoebus the Brilliant. He is the generally nude or wear only a shirt mantle collapsed at the shoulder. He has a bow, quiver, and lyre. Apollo's beardless face is delicately featured. Apollo is known for being brother of Artemis, the child of Zeus, and Leto, the, the Zeus mistress. Next, Artemis. Artemis was the Greek goddess of the hunt, archery, animals, and the moon. She is the twin sister of Apollo Every evening she mounted her room chariot and drove her pure white horses across the heaven. The Roman counterpart of this Greek goddess was Diana. She has a bow, quivered, and deity of sudden death. She is the goddess of hunting and female female chastity, associated with the young girls and wild animals, one of the virgin goddesses. Next is Hephaestus. He was the Greek god of fire, craftsmen, and mental workers. He created armor, weapons, and the thrones of the Greek gods who reside on the summit of Mount Olympus. Hephaestus and his supernatural and powerful skills as a mental worker led him to make many of astonishing items using gold, silver, and bronze, including magnificent metal robots that served the gods and their favorites. Ares was the Greek war Ares. Next is Ares. Ares was the Greek god of war and unruly and ungovernable warrior. He features in the stories, mythics, and legends relating to the various conflicts, including the war with the Titans, the war of giants. Ares was also the god of spring, growth in nature and fertility, and the protector of cattle. He was the lover of Aphrodite. Ares is depicted as a powerful, strong god who rode a chariot drawn by four gold-riddled fire-breathing stallions. Next is Aphrodite. Aphrodite was the most beautiful of all the goddesses. Aphrodite was the Greek goddess of love, beauty, and fashion. Zeus gave her hand in marriage to Hephaestus in gratitude for the service he had given in forging thunderbolts. She was an unfaithful wife and had a long-term affair with Ares, the Greek god of war. He had a son named Eros or Cupid, the god of love. Aphrodite is known for the goddess of beauty and love, associated with myrtle plant. In Roman mythic, the mother of the Roman people. She is the daughter of Uranus. Next is Poseidon. Poseidon was the Greek god of the sea, tempests, storms, and earthquakes, known as the Earth Shaker. Although Poseidon was one of the gods of Mount Olympus, he spent most of his time in domains and magnificent underwater palaces. The symbol of trident of the power represented his ability to control the water. Poseidon is the child of Cronus and Rhea, brother of Zeus and Hades. Next is Athena. Athena was the goddess who sprang from the head of Zeus, clothed in armor. Athena was the goddess of wisdom and also the goddess of spinning and weaving, and she herself could weave the most beautiful cloths of many colors. Her importance to Athenians is seen in her wonderful temple, the Pantheon, which still crowns an Acropolis in the modern city of the Athens in Greece. Sometimes called Pallas Athena. She was venerated among the greatest divinities in her quality of warrior goddess, as the goddess of the arts and peace of prudent intelligence. She is represented as standing, her body sheathed in tight draperies, her head covered with a helmet, her breast covered with the aegis, a shield, her right hand holding a spear. Next is Hades or Hades. Hades was the elder brother of Zeus and Poseidon and the ruler of the underworld. He adopted, adopted, abducted Persephone, the daughter of Zeus and Demeter, and made her queen of the underworld. Sometimes he was called the Prince of Darkness, and he preferred living in the underworld than Mount Olympus with the other gods. Next is Hermes. He was the messenger of the gods and the god of merchants, travelers, and public speakers. The names of his parents were Maia and Zeus. He was one of the 12 Olympian gods who resided on the summit of Mount Olympus. Next is Persephone. When she was a beautiful young maiden, Hades seized her and her captive in underworld. Her mother, the goddess Demeter, eventually persuaded the gods to let daughter return to her. This mythical story symbolizes the annual vegetation cycle, the dying and the rebirth of plant world. Next is Hermes. He was the father of Pan and Daphne. Hermes was the only god who authorized to visit heaven, earth, and the underworld. His caduceus and a staff entwined by snakes help Hermes charm the gods and gain access to all locations. He was often depicted ready for travel and often wore a hat called Pegasus. Next is Dionysus. Dionysus was the carefree Greek god of wine, parties, festivals, and theater, chaos, drunkenness, and ecstasy. The symbol of Dionysus were the grapes and goblet relating to his role as the god of wine. He taught mortals how to plant and tend the grapevine and make it into wine. Next is Demeter. Demeter was the goddess who watched over the plants and trees. Demeter taught men how to sow and cultivate grain, so she was also worshipped as the goddess of agriculture. Demeter was a lover of Zeus and they had a daughter named Persephone. Next is Hestia. She was the firstborn child of the Titans Cronus and Rhea and was swallowed by her father at birth. When she was introduced to the Mount Olympus, the gods Apollo and Poseidon asked for her hand in marriage. She refused their offers and Zeus allowed her to remain an eternal virgin. Next is Hestia. Hestia was the virgin goddess of the earth, the home of family. She was also the goddess of sacrificial flame and assigned by Zeus the duty to maintain the fires of the Olympian hearth. Every home had a hearth that was dedicated to the goddesses, and each day they started ended with a ritual requesting she protected the family. Now let's discuss the Zeus wives and children. Metis. Metis was the Titaness in the beginning. She knew Zeus because he came to her. Zeus came to Metis because his father, Cronus, had swallowed all of his brothers and sisters. Together they came up with a plan to convince Cronus to throw up the children. Zeus disguised him and Cronus hired him. Zeus gave him the potion in a drink and Cronus threw up the kids. Metis later became Zeus' first wife. Together they gave birth to Athena, who came out of Zeus' head. Next is Themis. Themis was the Titan goddess of divine law. She was one of the early wives of Zeus and bore him with 6 children. All of them were girls. She helped Zeus planned the Trojan War and was his counselor. She is seen next to him on the throne, telling him what to do per laws and punishment. Next is Eurymon, is the titan of goddess of water, meadows, and pasture lands. She was the mother of Charities by the nurse of Hephaestus. She used to be the ruler of Olympus but overthrown by Cronus. Next is Demeter. Demeter was the goddess of agriculture and grain. Demeter was often known as a being something like Mother Earth. Zeus is her brother and husband. Her daughter by Zeus was named Persephone. Persephone was kidnapped by Hades, Zeus' brother and god of the underworld, and was named Queen of the Underworld. Next is Mnemosyne, was the titan of time, remembrance, and memory. She and Zeus had 9 children, the 9 Muses. She is also known as being one of the three elder Titan Musae, who were the muses of music before the 9 that she and Zeus had. Next is Hera. Hera is Zeus' sister. She is the goddess of women and marriage. She is often known as being very jealous and full of hatred. That is mostly because of her husband Zeus cheated on her all of the time. Her parents are Cronus and Rhea. Zeus came to her as a bird. Hera mothered it, and Zeus then changed himself back and seduced her. They had 4 children. Next is Leda, was a Spartan queen. Zeus came to her as a swan, and when Leda produced 2 eggs, the twins Castor and Polydeuces were born. The other set of twins, Clytemnestra and Helen of Troy, were born. Next is Leto. Leto was the titan of the goddesses of the motherhood. She had the twins Apollo and Artemis by Zeus. During her pregnancy, she was constantly chased by Hera out of the land, so she could not find a comfortable place to give birth. Next, Zeus' children. We have Athena, Metis, and Zeus, goddess of wisdom, war, patriotism, and good citizenship. Next is Atropos, Clotho, Lachesis, Themis and Zeus, the Fates. Next is Hooray, Themis and Zeus, the Rs. Next is Eunomia. The parents is Themis and Zeus, the role is discipline. Next is Dike. Themis and Zeus, the role is justice. Next is Erin. Excuse me, Erin. Erin. Themis and Zeus, the role is peace. Next is Agalia. Procine, Talia. Eurymine and Zeus, the 3 Graces. Next is Calliope, Clio, Erato, Euterpe, Melophaene, Polymnia, Terpsichore, Thalia, Aurea. Parents, Mnemosyne and Zeus, the 9 Muses. Next is Ares. The parents is Hera and Zeus, god of war. Next is Elitalia. The parents, Hera and Zeus, goddess of childbirth. Next is Heavy. Hera and Zeus, goddess of youth. Next is Hephaestus. The parents is Hera and Zeus, role of god of fire. Next is Apollo, parents of Leto and Zeus, god of prophecy, music, and healing. Next is Artemis, Leto and Zeus. The role is goddess of hunting, wild animals, childbirth, and children. Next is Castor and Polydeuces. Parents Leda and Zeus. The role they form the constellation Gemini. Polydeuces is immortal and Castor is mortal. Now let's discuss the demigods. A demigod or demigod is a minor deity or a mortal or immortal who is offspring of a god and a human, or figure who has attained the divine status after death. Figuratively, it is used to describe a person whose talents or abilities are superlative that they appear to approach being divine. A demigod is a minor deity, sometimes synonymous with the gender-neutral term demideity, but more commonly the term is used to describe a divinity that is a male, and while demigod that is a feminine. List of demigods in Greek mythology. Archelaus, the son of the sea nymph Thetis, daughter of the sea god Nereus and Peleus, king of the Myrmidons. Next is Aegis, son of Zeus and Aegina, who was the daughter of a river god. He was the father of Telamon and Peleus, and grandfather of Ajax and Achilles. Next is Aeneas, Trojan hero, son of Aphrodite, goddess of love and Prince Ancient. He fell to Italy and became the Emperor of Romulus, Remus, and founder of Rome. Next is Amphion, son of Zeus and Antiope, the twin brother of Zeus, Zethus. Next is Arcas, the son of Zeus and Castilto, a nymph minor goddess associated with Aphrodite. Next is Asclepius. According to the Aularius Book of Greek Mythic, Asclepius was a son of Apollo who achieved divine status after death. He became such a great healer that he could bring back the dead. Zeus killed him for this but raised him for the dead as the god of healing and medicine. Next is Attis, the son of Limine, a nymph of Carnage. Next is Bellerophon. According to Homer's Iliad, son of Glacius and Eurymede of Coronea. According to Apollodorus and Hesiod's Catalogus by Hyginus, he was a son of the sea god Poseidon by Eurymede. Next is Crodus, son of Poseidon, king of the Athens, forefather of Ariston of Athens, father of Plato. Next is Dardanus, son of Zeus and Electra, daughter of Atlas. Next is Dionysus, son of Zeus and Selene, a mortal. Later on, he became god, part of Olympians, when Hestia gave up her seat for him. Next is Epaphus, son of Zeus and Lo, a priestess of the goddess Hera, Zeus' wife. Next is Harmonia, daughter of Zeus and Electra. Next is Heracles, son of Zeus, king of the gods, and Alcmene, a mortal woman. Next is Helen of Sparta, also known as Helen of Troy. According to the old sources, daughter of the king Tyndareus and Leda, but Homer also called her daughter of Zeus and Leda, wife of Melanus, the king of Sparta. Next is Hippolyta, daughter of Ares and a queen of Amazons. Next is Iasus, son of Zeus and Electra, one of the seven daughters of Atlas and Pelion. He was the brother of Dardanus. Next is Memnon, son of Titanus and Eos, and Titans of goddess of throne. Orion, son of the Poseidon, the sea god of Ruel. Next is Orpheus, son of Calliope and god Apollo. Next is Penthesilea, daughter of Ares and Orthrea, a queen of the Amazons. Next is Perseus, son of God, son of Zeus and mortal princess Danae, whom he impregnated as a golden shower. Next is Polydeuces, and also known by his Roman name of Pollux, one of the Dioscuri and twin brother of Castor. He was the son of Zeus and the mortal Leda, while his twin had a mortal father, King Tyndareus. Next is Theseus, son of Poseidon, the sea god, and Aretra, the wife of King Aegeus. Next is Tityos, a giant, a son of Zeus and Elera. Next is Satis, son of Boreas, the Greek god of the cold north wind and the bringer of winter, and Orithyia, daughter of the king Erectus and of Athens. His brother was Callias, and they are collectively known as the Boreads. Next is Zatus, son of Zeus and Antiope, the twin brother of Amphion and co-founder of Thebes. That ends my report and thank you for your listening.